this is cool marketing. I like this. Was this on one of your bottles or something?
It came on the back label of a bottle called Vibrant, which came out I think in the 1980s or 90s.
And that's a Meguiar's product.
Yeah, they always had cutting edge stuff out over the years.
Well, this is cool. I guess you're supposed to. It's like a vision test, and I guess put it up again's your paint.
Yeah, you put it up against the paint.
This was like pre-selfa, pre-detailer selfa selfies. That's what this was.
Yeah.
Man, Meguiar's, a good thing they've been around since 1901. They kind of got it all right now.
Yeah, they've really been cutting edge for all their history, always introducing really new, cool stuff, and I think we're going to be seeing some new, cool stuff today.
We are going to be seeing some new stuff. This is New Product Showcase Week, and we have Meguiar's here, and obviously this is old stuff. We have a special guest, which I'm going to go back over there, so that way I can bring the special guest up. So just hold on one sec, and I'll hand it over to you, Mike. And are you ready? You ready to introduce our special guest?
Okay, tell me when.
All right, go ahead, Mike.
We have with us today the Global Senior Trainer for Meguiar's, Mr. Mike Stoops.
Mr. Hey, Stoops, Mike, how you doing, buddy? I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, you know. Living's easy in South Florida.
Yeah, you staying healthy? Everybody doing good out there?
Oh, heck yeah. This is the nicest place I've ever lived. You know, Southern California, when I was out there with you guys, that was a lot of fun too. The weather's nice, gotta admit it.
Oh yeah, it's like 83 and sunny out here today. It was beautiful all weekend. It's great detailing weather year round out here, which is fantastic.
That's one of the cool things. But let's talk about something a lot more exciting than the weather. Let's talk about what you guys have up your sleeve that we're gonna showcase today.
Oh, well, it's no longer up our sleeves. It's been released today, so it's out in the open, and we can actually talk about that. There are a couple of things that are really cool and really cutting edge, but there's a couple of other things I want to talk just to let you know that they're out there. You know, we've had for a year now, we've had 4 products in our detailer line ready to use that are available at certain auto parts store outlets. We're adding D155 last touch to that mix. So rather than having to go out and buy a full gallon, you can buy a 32 ounce that's ready to use. It's already diluted 1-to-1, so you can use it as a detail spray or as a clay lube, either way. Just kind of an introduction, so you have to go out and buy a full gallon of some of these things. We've also introduced, to add to the Ultimate line, the Ultimate Insane Shine Tire Foam. So if you're a big fan of tire foam that cleans and protects and all that kind of stuff in one go, we now have it in the Ultimate line with the Insane Shine. So it's just super dark and glossy and a foam. Fairly self-explanatory, but if you've been thinking, I really like tire foam and I really like the Ultimate line, why isn't there the 2-in-1? There it is. So we've got that for you now too. But
I was gonna say, that's some amazing technology. You could just spray it on and walk away, basically. It does everything for you.
Yeah, it's, you know, I like to, because it foams, and we know some people tend to overuse product. They use more than they really need to. Right, they have that attitude of some is good and more is better.
Yeah.
And you and I think that's like cash in my pocket. That's a true statement.
Or gas.
And maybe horsepower, that's a true statement. Yeah, exactly. But for the most part, with automotive appearance care products, you don't need to go real heavy with stuff. It causes more problems than it solves if you overuse product, right? So what I like to do with a foam like that is spray it on, kind of let it do its thing, and then I'll come back with an old cotton towel and wipe around that tire sidewall and knock off any excess, and then you're good to go after that. So it can be spray it on and you're done, but if you're a little heavy-handed, that last wipe's probably not a bad idea.
It's always good to have a scrap rag around.
Absolutely, that's what they're for. Eventually, you downgrade those towels. That's the last thing before they hit the recycle bin, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But we got a couple of really cool things that we're introducing right now, as of this morning, and I really want to spend a little bit of time talking to you about these two things. One of which is the closest thing we've ever had to a magic trick. You almost have to see this to believe it. It's kind of crazy. And that is our hybrid ceramic wash and wax. Now, some of you are probably thinking, come on, have you kind of jumped the shark with a ceramic wash and wax here? I mean, what can you really do with, well, what does it really give you? What can it possibly really give you? Well, a couple of years ago, when we introduced our hybrid ceramic spray wax, this got people a little confused because it's a way to protect the paint on your car, just like you would with an old school wax, except the application process was really kind of unique for a lot of people, right? Especially in the consumer space. And that is, you spray it onto a wet car, and then you forcibly rinse it off. You can even rinse it off with a pressure washer. Now, you would think that that would just take everything off the car, but it actually left the protection behind. You could see the water beading immediately change for the better. So we're taking some of that technology and some of that concept, and we've put it into a wash. You can see on the bottle here, there's actually two chambers to the bottle. We've got the shampoo, which is a proprietary shampoo for this mix. It's just a real nice, high quality, luxurious shampoo. But the second chamber has the SiO2 boost. And they're in two chambers because they literally don't mix together. If we tried to put the two together, this would just be floating up on top the whole time. And then we use that in conjunction with a new hybrid wash mitt. It's two-sided. Let me pop this out of here for you. We've got the longer nap chenille side, and then a flatter gray microfiber side. They're both microfiber. But as you know, Mike, we can do a lot of things with microfiber. It's an engineered material, so we can alter the characteristics and what different types of microfiber do. You know that some are really good at removing like wax and compound and polish residue from the paint, and others are really good at absorbing water for drying. Right? If you take a typical microfiber polishing cloth, it doesn't absorb water very well. They're both microfiber, they just do different things. And this is kind of where the magic trick comes into play with this. So what we're recommending you do is, with 3 gallons of water, there's a little measuring cup that comes with this that's marked for 1 ounce and for ½ ounce. Okay? So you take 3 gallons of water, and you put 3 ounces of the shampoo in. You can blast it with a hose, get your suds up, however you want to do it, whatever you're comfortable with. But then we add ½ ounce of the SiO2 boost into that mix. Just pour it in on top. It will not mix through. Huh. And then rinse your car down and proceed to wash as you normally would wash. You take the mitt, you dunk it in the bucket, and start washing with the orange side. And it just feels like you're washing your car as per usual. And then you flip the mitt over. Don't put it back in the bucket. Just flip the mitt over, and all of a sudden, with this gray side, you will start to see what almost looks like an oily residue on the paint. So don't freak out if you see that. When you're washing your windows, especially if they're dark tinted windows, you'll notice it on the glass as well. You'll feel how much slicker it is. The experience literally changes from one side of the mitt to the other. Huh. And then rinse off the area like you normally would. And watch the water beading just jump through the roof.
Huh.
You guys are magicians.
That's some good chemistry there.
It has to sound ludicrous as I'm talking to you about this. But when you try it, and we've got videos out now on our YouTube channel that actually show the before and after of the water beading just from washing with this. It is the craziest looking thing, because it uses the same kind of concept and the same kind of chemistry and physics that are at play with the hybrid ceramic spray wax. Now, it's not giving you that level of protection, but it is unquestionably leaving behind this material on the surface that gives you that great water beading, which means if you're using our hybrid ceramic products, the liquid wax, or like M27 from our Pro line, or if you have anybody else's ceramic coating on your car, that's the perfect wash to use, because it keeps that insane water beading at a real high contact angle. It keeps that present all the time while you're washing your car. So it's a fabulous maintenance product for any ceramic or ceramic-related product that you're using as your primary protection right now. And yeah, it's the closest thing we've got to a magic trick. It's kind of trippy to watch this in action. You may spend more time washing your car than you actually need to, just because it's so cool to watch it happen.
I can just see you now. Hey, neighbor. Hey, Jim, since Mike likes using Jim. Hey, Jim, want to see a magic trick? Watch me, watch my car.
Well, no, but one thing we all know about, everybody loves to see water beading, but the benefits is that high surface tension that's created helps to flush any grime, any road dirt, any dust that's settled on it off the car without scratching. And then if your car is caught in the rain, that self-cleaning effect because of the hydrophobic surface, that it self-cleans your car.
Yeah, it's kind of weird the first time that you use a product that does that, and you drive your car in the rain, and then you look at the car the next day and you're thinking, well, didn't I drive in the rain? Shouldn't my car be filthy right now? And yeah, it probably still needs to be washed, but it's not anywhere to the level that it used to be. And it's a little trippy to see that, and you want to be able to maintain that. If you've got a full coating on or something like our hybrid ceramic wax, you want to be able to maintain that high level of bead, that kind of self-cleaning characteristic. And that's a great wash to let you do exactly that.
Yeah, well,
and it's literally as easy as washing your car.
Yeah. And for everybody watching this into the future, ceramic coatings are such a buzzword and the new product in the industry, but besides getting your car coated, or even if it's wax or you use a synthetic sealant on it, the most important thing, and the thing that people do the most, is wash their car. You only wax it or seal it once in a while, but you wash it all the time. And it's the washing process and now the chemistry that you're introducing that's going to enable you to keep that showroom looking finish going all the time.
Exactly right. Yep. And it is trippy to feel the difference from one side to the other. In fact, the video clip that you were just showing, if you go and you kind of look at that full screen, you can see when we flip to this gray side at the bottom of that stroke, there's almost this kind of oily look. And like I said, don't let that spook you. I also want to caution everybody against something, because we know how much you guys like to experiment and play around with stuff. And you may be thinking, well, what if I use more of the SiO2 boost? What if I kind of go crazy and over boost with it? And I can tell you right now, I have the same attitude I like to do. I like to freak out our marketing guys by doing stuff like that. So I intentionally over boosted. I used 4 times the amount of SiO2 boost that we recommend. And here's what happened. I used more product than I should have, which means I would run out of the SiO2 boost while I still had shampoo. Yeah. I started to feel a lot of the stuff on my hands, and my hands became like crazy hydrophobic. But I got nothing more out of it on the paint. It didn't do anything more, because it doesn't just leave more behind, right? If you wax your car with half a bottle of wax, you don't get more wax on the car. It just doesn't work that way. We have this actually set up that for every wash, if you use 3 ounces of shampoo and half an ounce of the SiO2 boost, you'll run out of both at the same time. So if you start over boosting, you will gain nothing positive, I guarantee you. Your user experience will probably be not as nice. So that's not a good thing. And then you'll run out of SiO2 boost before you run out of shampoo. What's the point in that? Our chemists go to great lengths to make sure that things behave the way we want them to behave, and we know you like to experiment. I'm always fine with that. But I'm telling you, this time around, I tried to break it. I messed with it in crazy ways. There's nothing to be gained. There's no upside. It's all downside. The downside isn't that bad. Nothing. You don't damage anything. You don't hurt anything. It still rinses away really easily, but you'll just run out of product and you'll gain nothing positive. So seriously, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Just throw it away.
One of the things I like to tell people is at some point you just need to trust the brand. Trust that Meguiars has some of the best chemists on earth, and when you write that label direction copy, that that information is coming from the chemist. Okay, so follow the directions.
Yeah, that's what I was about ready to say. Is like, you just got to follow directions, people. There's a reason why they're there.
The guys actually stress over the words that go on the bottles. the discussions and the meetings that we have about that will blow your mind. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, good point, Mike. Follow the directions.
Follow directions.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to trying that on my own car. When are you going to send me a jug of that?
We'll get you some as quick as we can, and before you know it, there's going to be a whole bunch on the shelf back behind you, man.
Yeah. No, I'm sure I'll see it come into the warehouse. Well, what else do you got there besides the new wash then and the new mitt?
We have a new hybrid paint coating. Now this is a little different. This may get a couple of people questioning a little bit here. This is a true coating, but it's actually not ceramic. It's a hybrid polysiloxane. And when you get into the chemistry of this, and you look at the chemistry of silicones, of polysiloxanes is a big general thing, and silicon dioxide technically is a polysiloxane. Polysiloxanes are SiO somethings. There's a million different things that you can do. And on a chemical basis, the relationship is so tight with these that what our chemists have hit upon is a true coating using the polysiloxane chemistry. By true coating, I mean we're laying down a measurable film thickness with this, okay? If you tape off half your hood and apply this to one side, let it cure, pull off the tape, you can feel a step up. It's still incredibly thin, right? It's fractions of a micron, but you can actually feel it, and we can measure it. Unlike a wax or a polymer sealant that you need like incredibly specialized equipment to actually measure any presence of that type of product there. This, like any other coating, we're laying down a measurable thickness. So you get that incredible cross-linking, kind of multi-level cross-linking to itself and to the paint. The thickness, so the amount of material that's there, the slickness of it, the incredible contact angle of the water beads. It gives you all the performance of a full ceramic coating in an application process that's almost as easy as using a traditional wax. The kit comes with the coating itself, which interestingly is an aerosol. It comes with our M1 to make sure that air before you apply this. So if you're going to go in and do some level of correction to the paint first, that we do recommend at least cleaning the car first to make sure that all the bonded contaminants are gone. But if you want the paint to look its best, machine compound, machine polish, prep that paint, but then come back with the 122 prep spray so that that paint is completely bare. And then, this is where it becomes just ridiculously easy to apply. We use an even coat microfiber applicator pad. And you'll literally take this and spray it onto the pad for maybe 2 or 3 seconds to kind of prime the pad. And then you'll apply it in back and forth strokes in a crosshatch pattern, which is pretty typical for any other paint coating. But the nice thing is you don't have to worry about high spots with this. You can apply it to an entire panel and then come back and wipe it off with a microfiber towel. We include 2 of our black microfiber towels in the kit, okay? Towel management becomes important. You want to fold the towel in half and then in half again, gives you 8 sides of the towel. And when you go to wipe it off, it doesn't haze over like a wax. It is a coating, but it doesn't dry to high spots. So you can come back and start wiping it with one side of the towel, flip to the other. It's not going to wipe off like that, like a real thin carnauba wax might, but it wipes off pretty easily. You don't have to fight. You're not going to be rubbing and scrubbing. Just work that towel, wipe it off, and move on to the next panel. It's very, very forgiving. If it takes you a couple of minutes, fine. If you do it after 1.5 minutes or after 4 minutes, you're fine. It's not going to dry to high spots. It's going to fight you. Keep applying a little product as you're working your way around the vehicle. Just spray it onto the pad. We actually don't recommend using a DA. We are trying to lay down this measurable film thickness, and we do want you to be very methodical as you would with any other coating, right? Back and forth strokes, and then cross hatch it. panel at a time, wipe it off. You can wait an hour and come back and do a second application. There's enough product in here to do 2 full coats on a full-sized SUV. So if you've got a Chevy Suburban, you're still good to go, and probably some left over for touch-ups. So let's say 6 months down the road, you get a little scratch in a fender or something, and you need to buff that out. Go for it. Buff it out, clear off the fender, reapply it to the fender. You're good to go. We do recommend, as with pretty much every other coating on the market, give it 24 hours to cure before you get it wet. And ideally, let it go for a full week before you wash the car. Okay? But you will get that ridiculous water beating, the real high contact angles. You'll get a year plus easy durability out of this. The gloss is great. The darkening of the paint is really nice. It's just so easy to use. It gives you all the benefits of ceramic coatings without the downside of the real tricky application process. So it's going to be available to the general consumer. You don't have to be certified installer or anything like that to use it. Super, super forgiving to apply, and it works, gives you all the benefits you'd expect out of a ceramic coating. It's just technically not ceramic, but the polysiloxanes are practically the same. Simple as that, really.
Well, sounds good to me, Mike. I like how Meguiars can take things that can be really complicated and then make them really easy, so Joe consumer can get professional results the first time.
Well, that's always a big thing, especially today. Today with the whole pandemic and everything, with people maybe having a little bit more time. But we're so busy with stuff. Of course, now kids going back to school, you're trying to work from home, you're trying to homeschool the kids still, you got all this stuff going on. We don't have as much time as maybe we'd like to be able to go out and do things and take care of what is really a very expensive investment, your automobile. So it's always been really big for Meguiars to try and make all this stuff as easy as we can possibly make it. And we know that sometimes it seems like, man, it's really easy, how good can it be? But chemistry is an amazing thing. We do pretty crazy stuff with chemistry, and these couple of products here, I think, showcase that pretty effectively.
Here's a question for you. How does the paint feel after it's fully cured and set up, say a few days, maybe a week later?
Yeah, it's got a really nice, slick feel to it. You know, when you go to wash and dry the car the next time, everything just glides across it. It washes really easily. The drying, which for me is always the annoying part of washing a car, the drying is an absolute breeze. If you're someone who's into using, a leaf blower or reverse blow on a vac or something like that, or one of those car drying vacs, the master blaster kind of thing, it works beautifully for drying a car that way. So it's a great, simple to use product that gives you all those benefits: the slickness, that gloss, the darkening, the self-cleaning, the ease of maintenance, especially if you use the hybrid wash and wax as a maintenance product. So
and the longevity.
All the stuff with none of the downside.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is like, if you follow the coating up, if you need to wash it, just use the first magic product that he showed, and then you're good to go.
One of the reasons I asked you about the way the paint felt is because, as we both know, a lot of the coatings leave your paint feeling kind of rubbery, is the word I use. And while that has no effect on the product protecting the paint, people like paint to feel slippery, so you glide a cloth over it, it slides, it doesn't stick.
Yeah. Well, it's, there's a few different things that go into that, and there's ways of getting the slickness and still maintaining the durability and whatnot. But we're finding, especially when you look at a lot of maintenance products, like our hybrid ceramic detail spray, there's a lot of actives, so there's kind of a high solids content in that. And in a product like that, you actually aren't as slick, but you're putting more positives down on the paint. And for us, that was a bit of a trade-off with that product. We thought, do we either want to make it feel super slick, or do we want it to actually do something beneficial? Because slickness is something that's important to us. It's a feel-good thing for the consumer, like suds in your wash bucket.
You go.
The suds isn't what cleans the car. The slickness isn't what really protects the paint. Yeah, there's something with slickness that may help a little bit with mitigating some light scratches from towels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's a trick to balance it out. Some coatings, yes, they're not the slickest stuff in the world, and others are crazy slick. There's a lot that goes into how you manufacture that product and what the formulator or the chemist that developed that product feels to be more important. And I know with my job traveling all over the world, when I'm in Southeast Asia, it seems like the only thing anybody cares about is how slick the paint feels. And I've joked and saying, what, are you driving down the road with your hand out the door, feeling how slippery your paint is? Or do you want to know that the water's rolling off, it's taking the dirt with it, and the paint's really protected, even though it's maybe not the slickest thing you've ever felt? What's really important here, okay?
Maybe some people just like petting their car.
I've asked people that same thing, you know, and if you're that kind of car crazy, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, right? You can love your car, just don't love your car.
Yeah, but because this chemistry is a little bit different, we can actually maintain some pretty good slickness while we're getting the durability, the high contact angle, the self-cleaning, all of that kind of thing in a crazy, easy-to-use package. So win-win-win and virtually no downside to it.
Well, it sounds like it does truly have it all. So that's something I think people really want, is a product that can do it all.
But very easy to use and has fantastic benefits. And then with maintenance products that are part of that hybrid ceramic family, it allows you to maintain it as you would maintain anything else, but to keep that crazy high contact angle with the water so that you maintain that self-cleaning characteristic and all the rest of the things that you come to expect from a product like that.
Sure, faster washing, faster drying.
What's the longevity of that?
At least a year. At least a year. Easily a year. And you know, we've talked to so many high-end detailers that even with coatings that last a lot longer than that, and that's kind of one of the benefits, honestly, that you can get with a true ceramic is you can get longer durability. But so many of these guys have said, I put a 3-year coating on a customer's car and they don't maintain it to a super high level, and a year later that paint looks like it needs some loving. We got to go in and fix some stuff. And when you go in and then compound that car, you've taken the coating off.
Yep.
Okay, fine, you reapply the coating, but you've got a 3-year coating, but if you're not maintaining the paint, a year later you're buffing it off anyways. So there's a time and place for everything, including old school carnauba waxes. There are people that you're never going to convince to stop using a really nice carnauba wax, and that's cool. I got no problem with that. There's people who are going to have a car that they hardly ever use. They're going to baby it to a ridiculous level, and they got no problem dropping really big money on having a really accomplished and skilled pro detailer dial that car into perfection and put a 3 or 5 year coating on it, because that car's probably going to see 200 miles in the next 5 years. That's great. If that's what you want to do, more power to you, man. But if you want to take care of your car yourself at home without breaking the bank and you want it to be an easy process, that's what we're giving you with this product. We're not trying to compete here with a 5-year coating. It's going to cost somebody $3,000 to have to put on their car. Do this in your garage yourself. Get all those benefits for something simple that you can do at home.
Well, since I have it here, let me go ahead and pick your brain and ask you one more question. Now, what if someone were to accidentally get this onto some black plastic trim? Do they need to get it off right away? Is it going to stain it? How does it react with that?
It's not going to stain it at all. It may make it look better, but the chemistry that's involved in getting something to attach itself to paint is very different than the chemistry involved in getting something to attach to plastics and glass and chrome and stuff like that. So if you get some on, you're perfectly fine. It just may not last as long as you might want it to. So we don't really recommend putting it on your windshield and your headlights and your cowl and all that kind of stuff. If you've got painted wheels, absolutely go for it, right? But it's not going to hurt anything, but it's probably not going to last the same because the chemistry is just different for those materials.
And I just wanted to try to get that out there. Somebody watching this, that's a question some people might have. So that's just thought I'd throw that out.
Yeah, that's actually a really common question, and you know, especially if you get it on that plastic and it looks good to you, and all of a sudden it's beating water like crazy, you may think, oh man, I've really hit onto something. It's just probably not going to be as durable, and that's the worst thing that'll happen. That's not a bad thing. right?
No.
Yeah.
Makes it user friendly. You can go a little faster, maybe be a little sloppier, and get some protection and water being out of it. So.
Don't be sloppy. It's called detailing. It's not going out and slopping something on your car.
Yeah. Well, of course, at Meguiars, we always teach people to slow down and be careful. So.
There you go.
I got a question for you. Yes, that's me calling you on the other line.
Are you?
There's another mic in there. No. What about matte paint? If somebody gets it on a matte paint or something like that, or a wrap, or vinyl wrap?
Glossy graphics or matte graphics?
I'm gonna. Oh man, we're recording this, aren't we? And this is going out. Here's the thing with matte paint. Okay. Technically, we're going to tell you, formally, we're going to tell you, don't use it on matte paint. Sometimes, especially with consumer products, because we know that, and nobody watching this would do this, but we know that sometimes people use products incorrectly. Probably the most common thing is they overuse things, right? And like I said, nobody watching this is going to be one of these people, but when you're talking about a consumer product, you're talking about an awful lot of people that have access to that product, whatever that product may be. And they're not all necessarily enthusiasts. They just, I just bought a new car, I need to do something, right? And there's the very real potential to use it incorrectly and maybe not get a uniform appearance, but it also will darken and add a sheen to that may be upsetting to someone who really loved the way that matte finish looked. It's not going to make it glossy, but it can darken it up a bit, and it can put a bit more of a sheen to it. Now, those are real positives when you're working with gloss paint. When you're working with a matte paint, it may change the appearance enough that it may upset somebody, and then what do? You can't compound something off of a matte paint finish because you're really going to mess with the paint then. We say all that, and we understand that people are going to experiment, so kind of do that at your own risk, okay? We didn't design it for matte paint.
Gotcha. Well,
however,
we kind of talked about that. Do you have another product there to share with us?
This is really the big stuff. We've done a redesign to the packaging for the Ultimate line, so you'll see that change out there. We've changed the polymer set in our Ultimate Liquid Wax and the Ultimate Paste Wax, so they're more user-friendly. They actually apply easier and wipe off easier. Darkening, gloss, all that kind of stuff. Maybe a little notch up, whether or not you'll necessarily see it unless you did it side by side. But the user experience for the Ultimate Liquid and Paste Wax is definitely a big step up from what it was. Really, really nice stuff. For those of you that are still into applying a bit more traditional type synthetic sealant and aren't really all that interested in the coating at this point.
Gotcha.
That's pretty much our offerings for 2021. These are the big ones. These are the interesting ones. Yeah. The hybrid ceramic wash and wax is really the magic trick in the kit. It's pretty crazy stuff.
Well, in a way, bringing out more of a limited line of really dialed in products is going to be for a better user experience overall. And at the end of the day, that's what Meguiars is all about. That's what we're in this industry for, is to help people get the shine on their car and make it easy at the same time.
Make it easy to do. Absolutely. So gives you more time to take the car out and drive it and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's the reason why we have cars, right? You're supposed to be able to drive them, not just put them in the garage.
Exactly right. Have fun with them.
Well, Mr. Stoops, that was very enlightening. I'm sure you guys are going to see a huge uptick in sales once this stuff hits the shelves, and I'm looking forward to trying it myself. And the good news is you can get all this at Autogeek.com.
All right. Well, Mike, I know that you're a busy man today because I'm sure that you guys have more little promotions about these new products, and so I'm not going to keep you, but I do appreciate you letting us record you in and get you in on this, and I can't wait to try out the new stuff.
Thanks for having me on, and let me talk about some of the new stuff for 2021. Hope everybody stays safe and healthy out there, and look forward to getting some feedback from you on all the products as you get them in your hands.
It's going to happen.
Sounds good, Mike. You guys have a good one. Thank you.
See ya.
You too. Take care, guys.